Do you ever get that gross, bouncing basketball sound when you mic up your kick drum? Well, today, I'm going to share some techniques used by Steve Albini to get a better, deeper kick drum.
Learn audio engineering. Learn audio now. Sound strategies to sound goals.
Hey, I'm Robert from Learn Audio Engineering. Now, one popular approach to miking up a kick drum is to use a low-frequency dynamic microphone inside of the kick drum. And while this can be a great way to capture a balance between the low end of the body and the attack of the beater, it usually requires some heavy EQing to fit in with the mix. Usually because of that gross gym floor basketball bouncing sound, instead of producing a nice strong thud. So Steve Albini recommends using a figure of 8 microphone inside of the kick. So this approach does two things. The figure of 8 pattern provides a balance between the beater attack and the low end of the resonant head, while also rejecting the internal resonance within the drum that causes that basketball-like sound. The difference between a cardioid dynamic and a figure of 8 ribbon microphone is huge. The ribbon provides a deeper, more warm sound, while the dynamic is much pointier and more direct. The ribbon alone may tend to lack that in-your-face punch and attack that's demanded by rock music, so Albini includes a second mic for the beater. Check it out. So pretty big difference, right? Let's head over to the computer and take a closer look. So the secret extra mic that Mr. Albini uses is a lavalier microphone dangling from the beater side of the kick drum. For this, I used my lav mic that I often use for my voice in these videos, which plugs into my phone, which I then synced up in Pro Tools after recording. So let's talk about the processing that he applies to shape the sound of this microphone. To start, he mentions that this mic is for the attack of the beater. So he filters out the low end on this microphone. One, because it's not needed. The low end is handled by the ribbon. And two, it prevents the problem of phase cancellation. Because low end is the most likely thing to cancel out, removing the bass from this mic prevents it from interfering with the low end of the ribbon. Next, he uses a compressor with a key input that's side-chained or keyed to the snare drum mic. I'm using bus 3 for this. This is to help duck the lavalier mic whenever the snare is played, which prevents excess snare noise from coming through this microphone. It results in a tighter, cleaner kick click in the mix. He goes on to explain that in most rock and popular music, the snare and kick drum rarely play together at the same time, and if they do, the attack of the kick isn't super necessary as the snare will provide that crack. So I've got the compressor threshold set to shave off about a few dB every time the snare is hit, and I'm using a low 2:1 ratio to keep this effect less noticeable and avoid excessive pumping. Let's have a listen with and without this ducking effect. Awesome, this compressor is pulling down our beater mic whenever the snare is played. And Albini has another trick up his sleeve to clean up the envelope of our beater mic. He recommends using an expander, which is a softer version of a gate. So I'm going to use the Waves C1 gate in expander mode. And I've got its gate level set to allow the kicks to pass through, and I've set a floor of -19, which is going to duck down anything that doesn't quite reach the gate level, making it even quieter. Let's listen to the difference in with the drum mix. Awesome. There's 3 basic tricks that you can use to take that lav mic to a whole nother level, where you're able to get all of that kick click and then dial in the amount of bleed that you want from the other drums. I kind of liked its chaotic sound as an under the snare mic, but what this processing gives you is the control, which is important when considering how the drums will fit in with a larger session. These techniques combined give you a deeper kick sound with extra attack as well. And combining these microphone techniques with the processing on the batter side mic lets you keep all of the attack and the presence of the kick without leaving that microphone open to pick up unwanted noise from the snare wires. So I hope this video gave you some new ideas to try out on your next recording session. Leave a like if it did. Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos each week. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy mixing.